Spider-Man, Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Do the webs come out his butt? That was a line from Doctor Strange 2. Look out! Here comes a Spider-Man.
That's our new theme song for Two Corny Boys.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Fix your mic, man.
Oh.
Bring that closer to in.
Here? I can't wait for you to listen to that later.
Well, I know based on that theme song, you think we're talking about Spider-Man. But based on what's in Macaulay's hand, Star Wars, baby,
episode 1.
Return of the
Mac. Return of the Mac. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace.
Before we start anything, I have a hot take.
Hot take, give it to me.
The most toxic fan base of all time are Star Wars fans.
Why do you say that?
I'll tell you why. I'm going to tell you. I don't think there's any fan base that exists that hates themselves. Like, Star Wars fans hate other Star Wars fans. They go, you didn't watch the original trilogy first? You're not a real Star Wars fan. You're not a real... Or, like, you run into, you like the Disney ones? You're not a real Star... Oh, The Last Jedi? Because, like, that one's, like, 50-50. You either like it or you hate it.
Yeah.
And so, like, they hate each other. And the same, like, all the TV shows, all the books, they're like, no, you're not a real fan. And it's like, I just like Star Wars. Like, let me just like it.
Do you think that's because of how long, like, the space between the films were? Like, each trilogy? So, like, a new group behind came
I would say yes, because each generation, I feel like, grew up with, like, oh, no, that's my Star Wars.
Well, episode 1, 2, and 3 were my Star Wars. I didn't grow up with
the original ones.
I mean,
I watched the original ones and I enjoyed them a lot. Now, Phantom Menace I saw when I was like 5 years old in theater. I had no idea what was going on.
So, okay. What is this movie? There's just like dialogue talking about government issues the whole time.
That's my first note.
And I was like, what?
My first note was
going on?
Everyone's favorite part of the original trilogy, trade deals and regulations. And like, we have to go to the Senate. We get to go listen to... I'm like, as a kid, I was like, what is going... But then they had a two-sided lightsaber and I was like, whoa! Star Wars!
Because that's all I mean, I haven't seen this movie for...
a long time.
15, 20 years. So
yeah. So that's all you remember.
That's all I remember was the lightsaber.
But you
rewatching it.
About the first
I'm watching
2 hours.
A political documentary about galactic political trade deals.
We have a trade blockade.
I had to pause and read through the opening credits or sequence because I thought I misread it. I was like, am I about to watch a movie about trade deals? I thought this movie was Darth Maul with a double lightsaber.
Boy, were you not paying attention as a kid? Well, I remember like seeing it as a kid, and then like after the theater, like my brother, who's 12 years older than me, talked to my parents, going, "Wait, that kid is Anakin Skywalker?" And I was like, "Yeah, idiot. He says it. He says his name." Didn't realize like the deeper implications of the original trilogy. I was just like, they said his name. Were you not paying attention? Stupid.
So, before we go in, obviously, Corny Nation understands that I'm not big into Marvel or Star Wars, but I've seen my fair share.
I'd argue you'd more start, because at this point, you've seen every Star Wars movie.
Every Star Wars movie, yes.
Except Solo?
Correct.
You've seen Rogue One?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I've seen.
So you've seen more of these than you would say the Marvel, because you only missed one of these, whereas like you've missed the first phase of Marvel.
Now I don't remember most of them,
so we'll just have to go episode to episode, baby.
So I'm going to hit the highlights for me, things that I didn't realize that came together for me. I didn't realize that this was a movie that, okay, I realized R2-D2 was introduced in the 4, 5, and 6, so calm down, listeners. I'm just saying I didn't know that's where R2-D2 got its start in the universe. And
chronologically.
And I didn't realize that Anakin built
C-3PO?
C-3PO.
What a weird, in my opinion, ham-fisted way to get C-3PO in this movie so that the original fans be like, that's C-3PO. I was like, what? Why did Anakin have to build him? Because that never comes up. Like, he sees C-3PO and goes, should have gone, C-3PO, I built you.
I was going to ask about that. So nowhere in the original trilogy was that
not mentioned. Touched on, hinted up, but then for this one, they're like, yeah, look how good he is with machines.
That feels forced.
We did it.
I learned about
midichlorians.
Yes.
The mitochondria.
The powerhouse of the cell.
The powerhouse of the Force. That was also the prequels introduced that concept.
So the original 3 didn't.
You just had the Force, or you didn't. Oh. But this one's like, essentially, Anakin is Jesus, but with the Force.
Yeah, okay. Well, is George Lucas, is he Christian, or did he just snap that idea up and was like, I'm using this?
He's like, this whole Bible thing's got one really cool idea. Well, there's like theories out there that there's a few. There's a theory that it's Darth Plagueis created him, but then there's another
Darth Plagueis.
Yeah, from Revenge of the Sith. You haven't watched Revenge of the Sith in a while.
No, it's been a very.
We'll get there.
Okay,
And then there's another theory because there's like a comic that explores like Anakin's psyche, and it's the Emperor created him. The Emperor's like, you could think of me as your father.
Speaking of the Emperor, are we supposed to... I wish I could see this with the ignorance of the rest of the service. Are we supposed to know that
it's the same actor?
What?
They kept him.
Yeah. Sorry. What I'm saying is, as a first-time audience member, way back when this first came out, did people know that Senator What's-His-Face was Palpatine?
No. Palpatine, Ian McDiarmid, is from Episode 6.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So Ian McDiarmid was in Return of the Jedi.
Oh, so when people saw him, they immediately knew.
If you put the actor connection, you're like, oh, okay, he's... Because obviously throughout this movie, it's one of those, like, with hindsight, as you know, but you're like, oh, yeah, he's super evil.
What's the year? How far in between?
Are these?
Yeah.
I can find out for you.
Does he look... He must look significantly older, right?
Well, he's really... They do the makeup on him in Return of the Jedi.
Wow. Anyway, while he's looking that up...
Return of the Jedi?
I thought that's what you were going to say, is that he was in... Which he was.
Return of the Jedi, 83, 99.
So
16 years.
Wow, I mean, that's a significant amount of time.
No, I think it's him, Anthony Daniels, C-3PO, and then R2-D2 are the only, like, returning people in this one.
Interesting.
But what about other cast choices?
Jar Jar Binks.
I've got some hot Jar Jar takes.
Hot take on this. And this is nothing new, but my gosh,
did you hate him?
So freaking annoying.
I want to create a drinking game. Every time he says "how would," you have to take a shot because I didn't realize how often he said it. Why did George Lucas do that? He built such a cool lore with Lord of the Rings. With Lord of the Rings. Whoa, I didn't know that he wrote Lord of the Rings. That's incredible.
He built this amazing world that seemed very serious and, I don't know, it drew you in. And then his follow-up was have this clumsy, annoying character that does nothing but offer comic relief in a movie that doesn't need comic relief.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
You ready?
I'm ready. Give it to me.
Jar Jar Binks is a Sith Lord. It's real. No, listen, it's real. He's a Sith Lord, and I'll tell you why.
Wait, okay. All right, I'm listening.
We see other Gungans, his race.
Yeah.
When they go to the city at first, Jar Jar jumps really high in the air. We don't see any of the other Gungans jump that high. In episode 2, he is trying to convince the Senate to give Palpatine extra powers, like in the Senate to be like a chancellor. Right. When he talks, he's waving his hands the whole time. Like a Jedi.
Interesting.
And so Jar Jar, and then there's things in this. People theorize he's pushing Anakin and Padme to get together because he knows, like, oh, this will cause some trouble.
So, do you think this is people's way to justify just how much of a terrible?
I just want it to be true because then there's other things. It's like his fighting style isn't traditional. It's like a drunk fist style. Because like whenever they're fighting in the field, they're like it's made to look clumsy. Like he's clumsy, but like that's the style. And that's another thing. His people are terrified of it. When he comes in, they're like, you had to get out.
Yeah, and they never say why he was
They say he's like, oh, I crashed something in it. Yeah, but then one of my notes is like, Obi-Wan's like, you were banished because you're clumsy? And I'm like, right to be suspicious.
Yeah, that's
Jar Jar's a Sith Lord.
I wish that would be canon somewhere. What happens to Jar Jar? What happens to him?
I can find out. At one point I knew, but I'm not sure.
Because, I mean, he's not in the original. Do we see him in episode 3?
In passing. Because he was so hated.
So, but does he have a significant part in episode 2?
At one point, he's a senator. And he convinces the Senate to give Palpatine extra power. So he can do something.
I heard that I haven't seen any of the shows. Is he?
He's in Clone Wars.
So I've heard he plays he's
in episodes.
A larger role. All right, what's it say?
So there's a new Aftermath novel. He stayed on Naboo, became lonely, a street entertainer.
A what entertainer?
A street entertainer.
A street entertainer?
He'd been marked as a troublemaker.
What would he do?
Continue to serve as the Gungan representative. That tongue thing.
Dude, seeing that. And surely the actors, I mean, you have, what's his face?
That's the other thing I wanted to say. Why Star Wars fans are so toxic. They ruined 2 people's lives. Jake Lloyd, this young Anakin. They've ruined his life. Imagine you're 10 and some 30-year-old man comes up here. You ruined fucking Star Wars. And he's like, dude, I'm 10.
What am I supposed to do? I was giving the lines and delivering like they was told.
Here's me defending him and Hayden Christensen because people did the same thing when he began.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know how many people saw their performances and said, that's it.
Right.
We're taking that. It wasn't those 2. It's not like they're bad actors. That's the direction they were given.
Right, because
George.
Qui-Gon.
Liam
Neeson and
Ewan
McGregor. The dialogue, I know this is a cliche, but the dialogue is so bad in this movie. Uncomfortably bad. Their delivery's terrible. Everything's bad.
Wait till episode 2.
Oh, I remember episode 2 in the sand. But that's what I'm saying. They had such bad dialogue, and their performances, in my opinion, were terrible. And I know they're incredible actors. So, and same with Natalie Portman. Every line was delivered so dry, and so as a matter of fact, and it was just exposition. This lines were so cliche as
like I have to set up this plot point for later in the movie, so here's this
so
line.
Bad. But they managed to get out of it alive and okay, so I don't understand why Anakin.
Both Anakin, yeah. Well, I think it's just because like Darth Vader in this original trilogy was like this. Oh, it's this iconic villain. Everybody knows Darth Vader, and then they ruined it. They didn't portray what he had to do, and it's like.
Well, it's a shame because if George Lucas, I mean, you can't prove this, but George Lucas, the story itself is interesting, how Anakin became who he is, but it was just written so poorly. It's so bad. Well, this movie is bad.
I think that's the thing. When other creators get their hands, because like some of the comics, some of the other books do an amazing job of explaining the rest of the world, and it's like George Lucas created this world, but other people are telling better stories in it.
Right.
So like George Lucas created like the baseline, this is the world, and now other people are like, well, I can take these characters, because at this point there's things where like every background character in Star Wars has some kind of book or something about them.
Background. Mm-hmm. I do think it's interesting that the progression. This is a topic for another time. I liked Rise of Skywalker way better than I did the last.
Yeah, no, we'll get to that another time.
But I appreciate episode 7, 8, 9. Mm-hmm. The vibe, I guess, of it. So it's like the first 3 are childlike. The middle 3 become a bit more adult nuance, I guess. Mm. And then the last 3 are very gritty, which I appreciate. It felt so... Finally, when Darth Maul and Qui-Gon
and
Obi-Wan were having the battle, which is the only thing I remembered of this movie. If they just had more of that, which is more of Star Wars, and not seeing a Senate debate, how did that get through the writing room?
This is politics. Everybody loves George politics. Lucas.
Yeah, everybody they got in the writer's room and they said, okay, all right, the first 3 were hugely successful. We had a lot of battle fights and everything was great. And George said, well, you know what we need more of? Political debate.
Political. Can we get some more political debate in there? Well, I think at one point it's talked about that this was a jab at politics in the U.S.
No way.
I think so.
Why would they do that?
Because everybody loves making fun of politics. You can never go wrong making fun of politics.
Yeah, let's take a pop culture iconic film series and try to make a statement with politics. Well, regardless of the aisle you're on, don't do that. People just want to see lightsaber battles. Which I will say, it looked... For the time, that battle looked really well choreographed, and
even when I watched it again, I was like, "This is still awesome."
The CGI in this movie is absolutely atrocious, but we can forgive it for being 1999.
1999. But then he added CGI to the originals. So
why would he do that?
There's a lot of people that have never seen what the original ones looked like. But we had them on VHS, so I remember some of the original.
The puppets.
But now I can't, because our VCR doesn't work, so I can't watch this. So I have to watch these weird new things. Yoda in the original filming of this was still a puppet.
Wait, in the original of this movie?
Yeah, Yoda was a puppet.
No way.
Yeah, puppet Yoda.
In episode 1.
Episode 1.
So they changed him into CGI. His was the best CGI character in it.
Yeah, he was still a puppet.
Well, so why did they CGI over it?
Because that was the look he was going to have in episode 2, and they wanted to streamline it.
Dude, what a mistake.
Well, no, actually, here's the CGI on. Apparently 2011 was when they did that.
Oh, so...
This was the re-release. That's right. They re-released Phantom Menace in 3D in 2011. just Phantom Menace. It's not like they were going to do the whole set of movies. Why? I don't remember. But I remember it was weird. And I remember I was like, oh, I really want to go see that. And then I thought, I was like, wait. Did I like Phantom Menace? And then I think back on it because it'd been a while. Like, my favorite of these three is Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
That's and I'd say, right? Revenge of the Sith is like one of my favorite Star Wars movies of all time.
I would agree. I mean, it's been a while, but I would agree.
But yeah, Puppet Yoda was originally here.
Man, I wish I saw that version.
With the puppet.
That's my Yoda.
I'm a puppet. I'm a little puppet. Yeah, that was really good. I really thought you were a puppet for a second, man.
What other fun tidbits do you have about this?
I've got notes. Let me get to my notes.
While you're looking at the notes, we have Groot here with us,
and he's holding a lightsaber. So for Star Wars Episode 10, is Groot with a lightsaber.
George Lucas, he's a brilliant guy, but I'm glad he sold it. But they sold it. Disney took it over and didn't do that great of a job. So
lightsabers. Fun fact. They never say the word lightsaber in this movie.
Yes, they do.
No. Anakin calls it a laser sword. Otherwise, they never say lightsaber.
I was going to say, Anakin said it when in this...
That's a laser sword.
Wait, why?
I don't know. It's just a fun tidbit.
That's a fun little tidbit.
So here's some of my notes.
Yeah, give it to me.
Beginning of the movie, we come in... They're getting led into another room for these negotiations. And George Lucas has built this amazing world, all these creatures, droids, all this. And they go, let's give him, at the beginning of this movie, a silver C-3PO. And I was like, why? You could have built anything, and you're just like, C-3PO, but it's silver. And I was like, okay, I guess that could be your callback to, like, remember C-3PO? But then later on, we see a naked C-3PO, and I'm like, dang, hot.
What? Okay, so that's what... Do they all look the same, and Anakin just tried to make his own of that
model?
Genre of robot?
Model. That genre of robot.
Also, okay, those alien creatures in the beginning, what accent was that? To me, it felt like a mix of, like...
Oh, we are here to take over your planet.
It was like a mixture of Hispanic and Japanese.
I don't... And again...
their mouths, like... I liked it because it wasn't CGI, but their mouths didn't match up at all with...
Yeah, I don't know. It was...
I enjoyed it.
I don't know what they're going for. But yeah, just a silver... I was like, you could have given me anything in the world. And then they give them water, and Palpatine's like, you have to kill them. And I'm like, you guys should have poisoned the water anyway. You should have poisoned the water that you give them. Why wasn't that the first thought? Like, let's just poison the water. But no, they don't do that. And their clothes. I don't remember
any of this. I just watched it.
When they swim underwater and they get out, their clothes are just magically dry.
Oh, I was wondering.
And I was like, wet robes and nasty. I was like, that'd be disgusting.
They come out of the water into their world or city or whatever, and they're perfectly dry. Are we supposed to just...
We're supposed to... The Force.
The Force. The Force.
The droids, whenever we see them, never seem all that menacing. The droid, the one with have the shields, those seem menacing.
The circle ones? Yeah.
There's other droids in other movies that are menacing, but the base droids in these...
Yeah, the Roger.
Are the most incompetent, stupid... I'm like, how is this a threat?
They're like the Jar Jar Binks of
Because
robots.
At one point, they're literally walking the queen onto a ship, and the robot's like, what are you doing? I'm like, all of your people are robots. Everyone on your side is a robot.
Yeah, they're taking them out.
Why are you letting them... You should have just shot them.
Hold on.
They were like, what? I don't think that's right. Oh, no! Then they get cut. And I'm like... You should have just shot them.
This is jumping forward, but I love how in Star Wars, there's always one building that if you destroy, everything else gets destroyed. So there's that flying spaceship at the end.
It's
when Anakin destroys it, all the droids go.
All the droids are like, Also, if you take if you really think about this, by the end of this trilogy, it's droids fighting clones.
Huh.
Which means it's just robots fighting clones of somebody, and all these innocent civilians are just getting destroyed in the process on their planets. It's basically just like we just make more droids, we can make more clones. Just bashing into each other over and over again.
It sounds like a science fiction movie in like one of those near distant dystopias.
Oh, yeah, droids should have blasted. Also, at one point, I wanted to believe that like everyone had an implant that just translated everything into what you could understand. But this literally means that everyone in the galaxy, for the most part, just knows English.
Yes. So when they were in the Senate, I thought the exact same thing. So
everyone just knows English?
Because in later movies they have different languages.
In this one they do.
In this one they do. I don't know. I guess
because at one point when Watto and Anakin are talking to each other, they're speaking other, and other people on Tatooine speak other languages and then speak English, and I'm like,
I was thinking about this. My theory behind that of why they chose to do that, because kids aren't going to keep up with reading. So in the what's the planet that Anakin lives on?
Tatooine.
In Tatooine, you can tell who's the good guy and bad guy without reading the subtitles and like you can just use the context clues to figure out what's going on as a kid. Whereas in the Senate, if a kid's gonna even attempt to understand what's going on, and like I said, I still don't understand all the
and that's the thing about it.
It had to be in English so people could follow.
This movie was very clearly geared to sell toys.
Yes. Oh, that's all this was.
But there's an interesting tidbit about that. In the original movies, Lucas kind of got screwed over in a deal with the toy licensing. And in this one, like he had to license with just one company in the originals. In this one, he licensed with so many different people. There was like insane amounts of toys.
So he learned. Yeah. And said, okay.
I had a Darth Maul mask.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. It was... One time I left it outside in my backyard and it got rained on. And so it just faded in rain color. And so I just left it on the other side of the fence. And I would always go out and look at it. Like, there's my Darth Maul mask. So cool.
Did you bring your friends over to...
be like, look at my Darth Maul mask. And then I used to have a Qui-Gon lightsaber.
That's the green one?
Yeah. But I hit it...
You do have one.
No, this is a new... I got this as an adult. As a kid, I had a Qui-Gon lightsaber. But I hit it against a tree and I broke the edge of it. So imagine from like here up, it was just chipped and broken in places. I still played with it so much outside. I have no idea what happened. It disappeared.
The amount of times I had Star Wars battles on my front lawn and choreographed lightsaber scenes with my friends is...
Me too.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
And I believed in my heart.
We are Star Wars. We are the Star.
If we had phones as kids, we would have filmed all of that.
Yeah,
like, we could have seen our magnificent.
And then I would have looked back and be like, oh,
maybe it's better.
I did this. 5 hours planning this or it felt like 5 hours. It was really 5 minutes of planning out choreography. Oh my god!
You know what I just thought of?
What?
And forgive me for this, but George Lucas, Luke, and Luke. He just named the character after his name.
My God.
Why?
Just like J.R.R. Frodo.
Folks. You're not going to hear that anywhere
kind
else.
Kind of hot takes
on the internet that George Lucas is
George Luke
Skywalker.
Luke
I wonder where he came up with Skywalker. I mean, okay, that's a.
It was gonna at one point.
Badass.
I think the last name was gonna be like Starkiller.
Oh.
Oh, you don't like Starkiller?
No.
I think they used it later for a video game. They named a guy Starkiller.
Yeah. Lame.
Yeah.
Was he the cousin of?
Yeah, they were cousins. They're like, oh, Skywalker, Starkiller. What's up, bro?
Wait. Okay, that's all right. I'll allow it.
What?
Starkiller.
Yeah. You don't like it?
No, it's fun.
Is that your favorite? You like Skywalker more?
I like Skywalker
because you can walk on the sky. Because they're pilots.
Oh.
They walk on the sky.
It's kind of ships.
Cute. That is cute. I know. But now it is time to tear Jake Lloyd's performance apart.
The kid.
Yeah. At one point, he's talking to Watto, and Watto's like, I hate those guys. I'm going to rip them off, and I'm going to do this. And Jake Lloyd goes, folds the arms like, and I was like, oh my God. And at another point, Watto says something, and he goes, Yippee! And I was like, what the?
Oh, yes!
He's like, do this and you'll go home.
Yippee! Oh, yeah. He's like, you get to go, yippee!
I was like, what? But then, there's literally a scene where, like, they ask him to do something. Like, Watto says something, and Jake Lloyd just goes.
But, okay, we can't blame him.
I know.
George Lucas watched this in the monitor and said, yeah.
But you know what that means?
This is what I want.
That means that there are worse takes that exist, and I want to see that version of this.
No. Here's what happens. Here's what I think because George wrote this. I guarantee you he wrote the word yippee. And then he gave the note.
Yippee.
He gave the note to little Anakin.
Jake, you didn't say yippee. You have to say yippee.
Excuse me, Jake. You didn't say yippee. You
gotta say
left.
Yippee. And speaking of...
Okay, so what's his name? Jake?
Jake Lloyd?
Jake Lloyd, his parents had to be on set. So I'm sure the parents were like,
this is so bad.
Don't say
yippee. And he's like, well, George told me to fold my arms at this scene. They're like, I swear to God, if you do that,
for the love of God,
I'm disowning you. And they did. They just disowned him.
So did the rest of the world.
So did the fan base. Apparently, he's like started coming to conventions and like...
Have people given him a second chance?
No, Hayden has gotten one, but I feel like Jake is just done.
But it's George Lucas should have gotten the hate. I don't understand.
I think he does get plenty of hate.
No, that's not fair, man. Yes, he does get hate, but everyone still respects him because
he
created the world.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You gotta say yippee. But then, oh my God. I'm supposed to believe that Natalie Portman wanted that when Ewan McGregor's right there. Like, Ewan McGregor, even with the ugly little rat tail, I was like, dang, Ewan McGregor.
How old is Padme?
I think she's supposed to be like 14. Let me confirm.
She's 14 and calling the shots?
Yeah.
Where are her parents?
14.
Where
She's
are
the
her
queen.
parents? Why is she calling all the shots?
Space.
Also, throughout the entire movie, I was trying to figure out who... I really had a difficult time finding out who was in the... I was like, wait, is that her?
You know who the other one is, right? It's Keira Knightley.
No way!
It's Keira Knightley.
I did not know that.
Huh. That was one of the toys. I remember when Star Wars was coming out, they had a doll of the queen, and here's all of her different outfits. And oh my God, your people on your planet are dying. She's like, I have to put on this illustrious outfit. It's going to take 5 hours. And I was like, so many outfit changes.
Yeah, but they had to protect her. So I was
and sell toys of all her figures. But then I always remember the commercials. It's like all these little girls with this, and I'm like, are little girls playing with Star Wars toys?
No, not many, man. What little girls watching? I'm sure. I'm sure there are.
Now it's a female. Ray Skywalker.
Now she's Skywalker.
Yeah.
Ray Palpatine.
That's a spoiler. You can't say that yet.
Spoiler.
Ray, no one.
Ray, daughter of no one.
But let's get back to them forcing me to believe that these two are going to end up together.
Oh, yeah. And no, hold on. Can I just say something?
Yeah.
However, I was close to Jake's age.
And you were this. Like, so it could be me.
I still think it could still be me.
Listen, Thor Love and Thunder trailer, I was like...
She still looks amazing.
Yeah.
Good for you, Natalie Portman. Good for you.
Call in,
Natalie Portman.
Would love to hear from you.
I just want to talk.
He just wants to ask some questions.
Like, where do you buy your Padme
outfits?
Outfits, sorry, not costumes.
Not costumes. Outfits.
Was there a correlation? Was when she was indoors, she was in the costume, and when she was outdoors, she was not? Or did you weren't keeping up? Anyway,
Do you know how to ignite a lightsaber?
I am Obi-Wan. I mean,
you're dead. I already killed you. Yours isn't even ignited.
Oh, now it's no. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Let's. You know what our listeners want to see? Let's choreograph a fight scene.
Okay. So you come down hard like this.
Oh, I love that one.
And I have to
come up.
And then we.
I always do the force.
And we fall back really hard together.
All right, let's try.
And then you do like a spin twirl, and I duck.
Okay.
And it goes. Yeah. Ready? So ready? Go up.
3, 2. Wait. You be George Lucas calling action.
All right, everybody. It's time for another great day of filming. Yippee!
Can I get a yippee?
Can I get a yippee from everybody?
Does George Lucas sound like this? Why is this his voice?
Yippee! This is.
Can I get a yippee?
This is yellow and green and blue lightsabers battle.
And so like
action.
Yippee!
Yippee! Am I ignited?
Oh wait. Oh. Force.
Oh. Spin.
I like how I'm making the lightsaber noises.
I have another tidbit. I have another tidbit.
What?
During filming, you and McGregor made lightsaber noises.
No
and they kept having to tell him to stop. Because they're like, we're going to add that in later. But throughout filming, you would just go...
No. Was it incidental? Like he was just in the mode? Or was he trying to add...
No,
he was trying to help. The sound guy was...
He's like, it's going to make this noise. Like, but it's one of those...
Stop doing it.
You always... When you have lightsabers, you
always make the noise.
So, I mean, I would do it if I was in a Star Wars film.
We did it just now.
Yeah.
And George Lucas. Guys.
Ewan, please shut up. That's not very yippee.
Can you please shut up? Jake, get in here and give me a yippee.
Jake, can you come in here and talk to Ewan? Let him know what yippee means.
And, he's not being very yippee
He's
today.
not being very yippee.
Oh my god.
Listen, guys. This is just a part one of
many
I hope
80 parts. Episode 1 alone, 80 parts.
What I want you guys to do is come in for part 2 later in the week, and in the meantime, go play with lightsabers. Growing up, I called them lightsabers because I was an idiot. Still am, but you know.
I had a kid in kindergarten really liked Star Wars, and the teacher was like, well, we're going to practice counting today. What would you guys like to count? And he said, lightsabers. And she goes, I love lightsabers. I like the fruity flavored ones. And he was like, no, like in Star Wars. And she was like, those aren't lifesavers. So you weren't the only kid. You were the only one.
That was me.
We went to elementary school.
Hey,
you have two. We're not on that movie yet.
All right, we're gonna.
We'll see you back. We're gonna choreograph a Star Wars scene.
And part 2, we're gonna show it to you. That's all part 2 is gonna be. Saber battle.
And we've got some more Star Wars points and fun facts for you.
Go ahead and mash that like and subscribe. Hey, we've passed 20 subscribers.
I know.
That's thanks to you.
We wouldn't be here without you.
We wouldn't be here without you. So don't forget to like and subscribe.
Is that threatening, pointing a lightsaber at them?
Yeah, turn it off.
Turn that off. We wouldn't be here without you.
And don't forget to say yippee.
Yippee?
Can I get a yippee?
All right, well, you can go ahead and go shut yourself.
See you in part 2.
Part 2, baby.